Welcome to another edition of Politics and Right. I'm honored today to have Harvey Wasserman, also known as Sluggo. He's an American journalist, author, democracy activist, and advocate for renewable energy. He has been a strategist and organizer in the anti-nuclear movement in the United States since 1973 and in the election protection movement since 2004. Harvey, welcome to Politics Done Right. How are you doing today, my dear brother?
An honor to be with you, Egberto. You're great.
Well, anyway, my friend, first of all, how are you doing with the fires? I understand you are between two major fires.
Yes, about a mile and a half from the Palisades fire and about 3 miles from the Eaton fire, both of which are threatening. I never thought I'd say this, but thank goodness for the 405, this massive freeway has actually been serving as a fire break, which has protected us, actually. But we have been in danger. It's been a very hair-raising week, but so far we're okay.
Well, one of the reasons we wanted to talk today, it has to do with a nuclear plant in that vicinity, in your area. Tell me a little bit about that.
The Diablo Canyon atomic reactors are 40-plus years old. They're about 4 hours north of here. There was a deal signed in 2018 to shut them down. And Gavin Newsom signed that deal, but in 2022, he rescinded it. And as a result, the entire Los Angeles region is in danger of a major radiation release, as happened at Chernobyl and at Fukushima. And so, the unpreparedness that people are talking about in this situation with these fires is multiplied 1,000 times by the unpreparedness for dealing with a radioactive cloud coming down from San Luis Obispo. So nobody wants to talk about it. But Egberto, you're the only one brave enough to have me on and to deal with this issue. We do not need the power from those reactors. They are expensive. They are surrounded by earthquake faults. They're embrittled. They need to shut. And as I say, a phase-out plan was adopted in 2018, but the governor, Gavin Newsom, has reneged on it. We need to shut those reactors. I want to say also, Egberto, it's now indicating being indicated from various sources that at least one of the fires here in LA may have been caused by power lines from Southern California Edison. And this is reminiscent of the fires in Northern California in 2018 that burned so much forest land and that wiped out the town of Paradise, among others, and killed 80 people. So what we're seeing here may be deja vu all over again from power lines from central generators that are not manageable. And we need a new paradigm here. If these houses in LA had been covered with solar panels, as we've been advocating for so many years, and had microgrids instead of large utility grids, these fires would not have happened. I can guarantee you right now, if these houses had been solarized, if there was a microgrids in place, LA would not have burned.
And, you know what? A few Politics Done Rights ago, I started to mention about how homes are built here, etc., not having metal roofs, not having solar roofs, etc., which are inherently protection against all these embers that are falling on roofs and causing fires. One of the things that I think at issue here with you is, they never did what was necessary to rebuild up in North, to build correctly or rebuild correctly in Northern California. One of your expectations is as they rebuild here in Southern California, that they pass rules or they pass laws and policies to not only talk about microgrids where we're not dependent on lines that go through the forest, but areas that can generate power locally, correct?
Absolutely. It's 100% right. Our electric bills would disappear, basically, and the danger to the public would disappear. We could control our own power, and that's the issue, because the utility companies don't want to give up their control of our power supply, and the politicians don't want to talk about it. And what Gavin Newsom did to us at that Diablo Canyon is a stab in the back. And, we have seen that these reactors can blow up, and we have also seen that these microgrids with solar panels can completely change the paradigm and give us the kind of cheap, renewable, clean, reliable energy, that we have to have. I mean, this whole argument, well, solar is no good because the sun goes down at night, has now been done away with because of the huge improvements in battery technologies. We're on the brink of switching from lithium to sodium in terms of housing batteries, which is an order of magnitude cheaper. And we have the reliability, we have the technology, and they don't want to hear about it. It's mind-boggling to me.
Actually, let me just say, it's not mind-boggling at all, really, my friend. What happens is that when you're under an oligarchy and folks want to amortize all that they've spent already, and folks want to ensure that they can maintain their power. This is what happens. What's best for Americans are not necessarily what's best for corporations.
Right. And I love, by the way, how Trump is yelling at windmills when the number one source of electricity from renewable sources in Texas is the huge numbers of windmills and wind turbines in Texas. You get a very substantial percentage of your electricity in Texas from wind turbines. And in fact, the old thing they've said about nuclear power is going to be too cheap to meter. In fact, wind power in Texas is too cheap to meter. At night in West Texas, the utility companies give away electricity because there's so much coming in from the wind turbines.
It's cheaper to actually throw the signal on the line than to turn the turbines and shut them down, etc. For having excessive power. Absolutely.
So you can watch TV and charge your computer and do your wash, all that stuff at night in West Texas for free because of the wind power. And the same with renewables. Solar panels have plummeted in price and continued. It's exactly the opposite of nuclear. Nuclear keeps going up and renewables keep going down, and they don't want to hear about it here. Not the Democrats, not the Republicans, certainly not the utility industry, certainly not Gavin Newsom. If they're going to rebuild Los Angeles, every building that's put back up in Los Angeles needs to have solar panels on it. And we need to have microgrids. And they don't want to hear about it because the corporate power, as you say, is too vested in central generated fossil nuclear electricity.
Well, let me tell you, coming on to programs like this is what we have to do, not just this time, but it has to be done over and over, program over program, etc. It's not going to be done by those who are advertising fossil fuel. It's not going to be done by those who are being paid for by the utility companies. It's going to be done by people like you, Harvey Wasserman. So you keep up doing the important work that you're doing. So give me a closer.
Well, listen, we have got to rebuild Los Angeles totally solar. The Olympics are coming in 28. We want Los Angeles totally solarized by the coming of the Olympics. These fires would not have happened if we had solar panels on the roofs and microgrids carrying our electricity. We're now seeing that Edison here repeated the horrible history of PG&E in Northern California when they burned down the forest, killed 80 people, and burned those towns. We've seen it again now in Los Angeles. How much more do we have to see, Egberto, before we use the technology that we have to give us cheap or even free electricity and save our planet?
Harvey Wasserman, a.k.a. Sluggo, an American journalist, author, democracy activist, and advocate for renewable energy. Thank you so kindly for having been on Politics Done Right.
Thank you.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.